Alright guys, good evening YouTube, and welcome to episode number 28 of the FPL Family. What a day.
Don't ask.
What a day of football. Oh my god, if only ever, forget Nations League. I mean, I know I had a change of heart about Nations League. I hate it again now.
Why?
FPL, Premier League, every weekend, 3 games back to back, every Sunday, done. That's just, can we just make that happen, please?
No,
can we make that happen?
I genuinely don't think
that my
heart could take it.
What a day.
I don't think I could cope.
What a day.
Even if Spurs weren't playing,
man.
from an FPL point of view, I don't think I could cope.
Absolutely unreal, guys. What a day of Super Sunday. What a day of football. I mean, Chelsea-Fulham was a professional performance by Chelsea. We'll dissect that game a little bit in a while. Then we had the North London Derby, Arsenal versus Spurs, which was a roller coaster, an absolute roller coaster. We had Arsenal going in front at first with what can only be described as a rush of blood to the head by Vertonghen. What he's thinking today, Vertonghen, with the handball, with the red card, he's just had a bad day at the office, isn't he? No doubt about it. The handball, they go in front, then Spurs come back, then there's argy-bargy, which...
A lot of the game there was argy-bargy.
Yeah, but actually, a lot of Arsenal fans that I've been speaking to on Twitter, and I've just seen a couple of guys on Sky Sports News, they kind of like that. They wanted to see a little bit of something from Arsenal. They've not seen that for many years, I don't think, at the Emirates. You know, they used to be just, we'll roll over and we'll sulk about, is that a foul on Son? Well, it's soft and we'll sulk about. They want to see a bit of fight, a bit of venom. And they did, they got it. They did, bloody hell did they get it. It was a fantastic game. And then we had Liverpool versus Everton, the Merseyside Derby at Anfield, which, frankly, Liverpool were bloody awful. We were awful. I mean, was I sitting there and swearing or what? Oh, my days. It was the final third. The ball in the final third, guys, was just awful. And then Salah gets dragged off after 70 minutes. And I'm going, why are you not bringing off Firmino? Absolutely criminal. And then he's brought on Sturridge. And I'm like, well, that's a disaster. And then he basically trolls everybody and brings on Origi. And I'm sitting there going, well, forget it. We've got absolutely no chance now. With Sturridge and Origi on no chance. And I put on Twitter something like, Origi, really? And then, well, you guys saw what happened, and I got the most amount of abuse on Twitter that I've ever had. Rightly so, by the way. Rightly so.
But good on Origi for following it in. There's a lot of players that wouldn't have bothered.
Oh, we did not deserve to get 3 points in that game.
Klopp
Trust
was
me.
on the pitch. If you don't get fined, it's a travesty. You can't run on the pitch and hug the keeper.
Maybe,
the keeper thought he was about to be attacked by some rogue fan from the crowd. The keeper was just like, poor old Anderson, he's had the fright of his life. He was ready to punch out. And
Klopp he just legged it on, didn't he? I love seeing that passion from him.
What's
That's
he
why I love
doing?
the guy. He's absolutely bonkers.
he apologised in the interview after the game, didn't he? He was like, I'm sorry, it was disrespectful, I'm sorry.
Exactly. He's right to apologise, guys. He's absolutely right to apologise. He shouldn't have done it, no doubt about it. But when the moment takes you. I was up out of my seat and I didn't celebrate. I was up out of my seat, so I was just like, I stood there, I was like, well, it must be either offside or it must be a foul on Pickford, or, it's going to say that it's crossed the line and come back in over that. Something's going to have happened. And then you said, it's a goal, you can celebrate. And I was like, yes. And I just went, oh.
And he got a look from the kids as if to say, shut up, Dad.
Yeah, Daddy's gone crazy. But listen, guys, it was absolutely bonkers day of football. But I loved it. Absolutely loved every minute of it. From an FPL perspective, my week has actually been very...
We're poles apart on this, aren't we?
Not very bad, but pretty bad, guys. It's pretty bad for me this week. Whereas for you, it's been actually very, very good.
I've had a great fantasy week and a poor Premier League week, and you've done the reverse.
I've done good for football, bad FPL. Bad for football, great for FPL.
I'll swap you my extra points.
You'd rather have the Spurs win, wouldn't you? I understand that. I can have football first. I understand that. So listen, guys, I would love to, at this stage of the video, what I normally do is I'll give you our agenda for the evening in terms of what we're going to do.
We don't have one.
I haven't got a bloody clue.
We don't know
and
what's
frankly,
going to
I don't care. It's been so good. So good. We're just freestyling. We'll see what happens. We'll talk about the games. We'll talk about all the FPL talking points.
We've got a preview next week.
There's absolutely no hope in us going through every game and dissecting it. So we've just got to talk about the headlines. We've got to talk about... obviously got to talk about Kane and Aubameyang and how that's going to go. I was just tuned in to the boys Who Got the Assist, Nick and Tom. They're just doing a live stream. So if you haven't checked them out on YouTube yet, go type in Who Got the Assist in the YouTube search bar. Once you finish with FPL Family, of course.
Don't go yet.
Type in Who Got the Assist, hit subscribe so that when they go live next, you'll know that they're going live and you can check them out. But they were on just before us, so welcome anybody that's joined us from Who Got the Assist. And they were talking about the incredible amount of transfers out for Aguero this week,
What was
right?
it?
So 170,000 people off of Aguero already. Absolutely unreal. And of course, those people are either flocking to Kane or to Aubameyang. And I must admit, I was pretty certain that I was going to go for Kane. Pretty certain. And I was heavily scouting both Arsenal and Spurs in that game today, thinking about where I was going to place my transfers. And I have to say, I was disappointed with Kane. I know he got the goal, but he wasn't really involved with the game at all, guys, was he? I mean, how many touches did he have?
We weren't great today.
Well, he's still got 2 goals, and I don't know. I'm still not sure he's worth the money. Which I've had this niggling feeling about Kane. Yeah, don't have to look at me like that. I've had a niggling feeling about Kane for a while. I really want him because I know he's nailed on. He's going to play a lot over Christmas, but I just don't think he's worth that money. So listen, we will come to that game in a bit. We've got to do polls. We've got to do hellos. And then we're going to do all sorts of things, guys. We're going to
we might not make
waffle
Christmas
for
in this
probably
house.
ages. Waffle for ages about FPL. We're going to look at the FPL Family Christmas present league. We're going to see if there's any front runners in that league from the UK who might be in for the Wembley Stadium prize. And
It's
of course,
quite complicated when you look at it because you've got to go
is
through
it?
each one to find one that's in the UK.
Well, we keep going down until we get one. Yeah.
Not the UK, not the UK, not the UK. I found one.
Well, listen, guys. First things first. Let's do the polls. So go to the little eye in the top right-hand corner of the screen. First question is Aubameyang or Kane, right? Obvious question. We're going to talk about it in a little while. That's coming from LBScan22 as well as at FPL_inject. So thank you guys for sending that question in. Second question, Hazard stick or twist. That's come from at FPL Pilot. Peter at FPL Pilot who sent in Hazard stick or twist. Another decent game for Hazard. I know he got an assist, didn't he? But again, Chelsea didn't look sort of their free-flowing, brilliant best. I got a bit of a feeling that in that team, Hazard's a bit wasted. He's a bit wasted. If he went into a team that was going to put away all these chances that he's creating and the movement around him was better, he'd get a lot more FPL points. But listen, we'll come to that in a bit as well. Third question is best Spurs asset to get. I think we had this question, if not on the last live stream, then on the last 2 probably last live streams. I don't think I'm any clearer, guys, to be honest with you. Ali Eriksson, Kane. I don't know what the other options are in there. No one maybe, or Son I think is in there as well.
Who's no one?
Well, you don't have
That's
to have
not
a
an option.
Don't have to have a Spurs asset. You don't
That's
have
not
to
an
have
option.
one. And then the last question was Salah. Is it time to get rid of Salah? Is it time to stick or twist? There's a lot of stick or twist questions today. One on Hazard and of course one on Salah. I have been saying for a number of weeks he is not worth the money, and you and a lot of other people are sticking with him, and I'm feeling that it's going to be very, very difficult for people to stick with him going forward. Very difficult, but Burnley next. Burnley next, absolutely. So listen, let's say hello to a few people, and then we're going to get stuck into the FPL action from the weekend. So let's say hello. FPL Tips is here. How are you doing? Alonso, question mark. Stick or twist, he says. I actually put that exact tweet out earlier and said something along the lines of, is he now worth the 7 million or should we be looking elsewhere? Got a torrent of abuse. That's absolute torrent of abuse on Twitter.
You probably
Wish I hadn't
deserved
said
it.
Wish I hadn't said it.
You sounds like you've got a lot of abuse today, dear.
It's just abuse after abuse on Twitter,
Yeah.
but nothing is going to wipe the smile from my face thanks to Divock Origi, I can tell you. David, let's call him David Solis. David Solis, 57 this week. Hello, how are you doing? 57 this week. Pretty good score, I think.
What's the average? Does anyone know?
I think it's like 50 odd, isn't it?
Is it
Something
got?
like that.
Yeah, but
Something
all those
like that.
Aguero captainers, has it changed for them yet?
Yeah, it could be.
Because they've got to come on, haven't they?
Could
Whoever
be,
was
so it
their
might change.
captain,
Keep your eyes on it, I think. Maffio Sol is here. How are you doing? Jeff is here as ever. Thank you, Jeff, for joining us and for moderating. Aaron, good evening, guys. Fantastic Sunday, he's saying, with a couple of sunglass cool emojis. So it was a hell of a Sunday, an absolute hell of a Sunday.
In comparison to the other week when we had, who did we have? One game, and it was like, I don't know.
Was it Cardiff or something?
I don't know, but it was dreadful.
Some guff
Instead,
game,
that
wasn't it?
one game, it was awful. And then today we've got 3 really good games.
Absolutely love it. Akers is here. How are you doing, Akers? 77. Good rank. Very, very good score. Suman Gautam is here. Overall rank 310. Woof. Very, very good. Very, very good.
From where, I wonder?
Karam Abu Shamala, hello. How are you doing? Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Josh Telling is here. Amazing Super Sunday, says Josh. You're absolutely spot on with that.
Well, for some of us.
Absolutely spot on with that. Firetog is here. 67, he says. Nice. Nice score. Anish Thacker is here. Nathaniel I'm going to get this very wrong. Buitendag. Nathaniel Buitendag. If I've said that wrong, Nathaniel, there's a pretty good chance that I've said that wrong, so I apologise in advance. Hannah is here. FPL Doc. Leo is in and moderating. Thank you, Leo. Lachlan is here. Kevin, Jasper, Peter, Ibrahim Plazy, Byrie Beckford. Loads of you. Guys, loads of you. And I expected nothing less. We've had an absolutely awesome weekend of FPL action, haven't we? Absolutely awesome. So I was hoping we were going to get a few of you in, and you haven't disappointed, guys.
You just come to see if I'm crying in the corner, rocking slowly, haven't they?
Well, listen, I think you're going to get a little bit of positivity back in your life once we review your team a bit later on. I think it's not all doom and gloom from an FPL perspective.
From an FPL point of view, I've had a great week.
Not from an FPL perspective.
I think I've got about a 30k rank rise, so that's fine.
Very good, very good. There is our Twitter page, as ever, at FPL Family, if you want to come and talk to us on Twitter or talk to me on Twitter. If you want to check out our Instagram, here is the Instagram, at FPL Family also.
Look at the lack of bias there.
What's that? Liverpool.
It's on the top row.
Actually posting Aubameyang. Fair play to you. Yeah, fair play to you.
No,
Derby Day Super Preview. Very good. So look, if Instagram is your thing, then there you go.
I've tried to be fair today and not have my Spurs goggles on and everything.
Yeah, that's good. I like it. So at FPL Family, if you want to go and interact with Sam over there, we've just had a super chat. It's just gone out the screen, so I'm just going to rewind a little bit. Steve Wynyard, thank you, Steve. Super chatting left, right, and centre, Steve. So thank you very much for sponsoring the stream again.
You had to buy me a box of tissues.
Very kind of you. Very kind of you. So as ever, guys, we always say the super chat is here. Thank you, Steve, for supporting the channel. Not a prerequisite to be in here, but if you want to support us, guys, then please do go ahead. We'd love you to do that. He's saying his question is, let's see, Jimenez, Salah, and Aguero. So okay, Jimenez, Salah, and Aguero. So Anderson, Aubameyang and Kane for a -8. I need some sanity, he says. I love your work, guys. Thank you, Steve. I need some sanity. Jimenez, Salah and Aguero out. Anderson, Aubameyang and Kane in. How are you feeling about that?
It does make a lot of sense.
It just shows you what you can do with a team once you get rid of Salah, right?
I must admit, Steve, I'm on the edge of a cliff with Salah at the moment.
I'm going to come to your feelings on Salah later on because it's getting increasingly difficult.
The trouble I have with it is it's Burnley next, and I keep going back there. And I mean, do you have to do them all now? Could you do maybe one of them this week and then the other two after Burnley? Like, can you keep Salah for one more week? You don't need Aubameyang for the Man U game, maybe. Could you do that?
I would say that's a really close one, Steve. I would say look out for any news on Aguero. If Aguero is going to be fit next game week, you've got Salah playing Burnley. I think you therefore want those two. But if you're looking a bit more longer term and maybe you need to do the transfers right now because of price rises and stuff, then Anderson, fantastic form and fixtures right now. Aubameyang, the same, and Kane, ditto. So I would say yes to those. If you need to do them tonight and you kind of have to because of price rises, I would say yes to those. I'd say yes in the longer term. Absolutely.
Even before Burnley?
Even before Burnley, yeah. Even before Burnley. When Liverpool not exactly hitting the heights at the minute. Anyway, so there we go. So that is, everybody said hello to. There is our Instagram. Here are the results from this game week. Where on earth do we start?
I don't know.
Where on earth do we start? We
can't go through them all one by one. We haven't got time.
All right, so let's talk about...
Should we just talk about FPL assets?
Let's just talk about Sunday then. Let's talk about Sunday and let's talk about Saturday. Because actually in this stream... we also really need to look ahead.
We've got to look to
Tuesday,
Tuesday, Wednesday.
Right, we have to because we haven't genuinely don't have any time to do any more live streams.
You're
up
smoozing with the Liverpool players.
Well, I'm in Liverpool all day tomorrow. Yeah, so I genuinely with work, so I genuinely can't. We can't do a live stream, so we're gonna have to look forward to game week 15 as well. So listen, let's talk about Sunday then, and let's address the elephant in the room, the question that's on everybody's lips: Aubameyang or Kane. If you're going to get rid of Aguero, I think Pepper's come out and said, or the news from the City camp is that looks like he's highly doubtful for the Watford game. And the reason he's highly doubtful is he's got some little niggly injury. And the word from City is that if they play him and it gets worse, or he aggravates this injury, let's say, he's going to be out long term. So the news coming from City is they don't want to risk him.
Okay.
Right. And let's face it, didn't risk him at the weekend, didn't make a blind bit of difference. You've got somebody like Jesus coming in, you've got Sterling banging in the goals, Sané cutting in from the left. You don't need to risk him, right? This is the difference with City right now. If Liverpool lose a Salah or a Mane or somebody like that, The players we're bringing in is like Sturridge and Origi. Now, I appreciate what's happened today, right? But you get my point.
And Aguero's not as good away from home anyway, so...
Well, quite. I think Jamal is saying Aguero trained today, didn't he? Well, I think he did, Jamal. I think he did. So I think he is available in that sense. But as far as I've seen, unless you guys can tell me something different, there is a niggle there that if they play him, there's a risk that niggle turns into something serious and then he's out for a long period of time, and they don't want to do that. So on that basis, 170,000 people transferring him out ahead of Gameweek 15 for either Kane or Aubameyang. Give me your thoughts right now. You're clearly going to stick with Kane, right? Or are you tempted in any way by the Arsenal man?
No, no. Would I like to have Aubameyang and Kane? Yes. Would I lose Kane for Aubameyang? No. If I didn't have either, would I struggle to pick between the two? Yes, absolutely. But I'm not going to get rid of Kane with the fixtures that we have coming up. And Kane is ticking, a goal last week against Chelsea, where no one was expecting it. A goal against Arsenal this week. So these are two games where I was kind of holding him on the basis that it was a derby and anything could happen. But I wasn't necessarily expecting huge returns from Kane, whereas going into the games that we have over the next 5 weeks or so, I would expect big returns from Kane. So no, I'm not going to get rid of Kane, am I? I'd be, well, this is me you're talking to.
Okay, absolutely right. Absolutely right. Okay.
Would I like to have Aubameyang as well? Yeah, I would. I do like the look of Aubameyang. I thought he played well today.
Scored something like, so that he's got 10 goals now in the Premier League. 10 goals this season, which makes him top of the scorers list. And he's got those 10 goals from his last 10 shots.
Yes, man.
So his last 10 shots have ended up being in the back of the net. So that
one today was unbelievable.
That's a great strike. That's a great strike. And we spoke a couple of streams back about how Martial was sort of overperforming, and therefore we might expect some regression. Should we be expecting regression from Aubameyang, given that he's scored 10 out of 10, or is he just that clinical? Is he that good a striker?
I don't know.
I think he's that good. I genuinely do. I think he's a class striker. Even before he came to the Premier League, I think he was linked with Liverpool for a couple of years. He was linked with different moves to the Premier League, left, right and centre. I think he's absolute class, and he's gone, for some reason, under the radar. Here we are, Arsenal 18 wins back-to-back, and it's taken a win in the North London Derby, despite getting points out of Liverpool, despite... who do they beat? They get points out of Chelsea. They got a decent result recently, didn't they? So despite having 18 games without being beaten, it's taken today for us to sit up and go, well, hold on a minute, he's got 10 out of 10, he's the man, we need to be bringing him in. I'm going to get rid of somebody like Aguero for Aubameyang. Is this all knee-jerk, do you think? Or is this warranted, this investment in Aubameyang?
The thing is, at the moment, I think everybody is... The Aguero being dropped, rested, injured, whatever is actually wrong with Aguero for this game week, throws a spanner in the works, doesn't it? Because a lot of people, he was the most owned player in the game or something, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And that's a lot of money to invest in somebody that is then a risk and moving forward. When you've got two strikers who've got good fixtures coming up and are on form, it's not surprising really, is it, to see a mass change. And when you're the most owned player in the game, you're going to see huge numbers, like 170,000 people taking him out, because that in percentage terms isn't that much of his ownership.
Yeah. And we said before about the Arsenal fixtures. We keep talking about the Spurs fixtures. We keep talking about how great they are from next game week. But listen, the Arsenal fixtures are absolutely incredible as well. Absolutely incredible. I know they go to Manchester United next. I think that was a trip to Old Trafford. That shouldn't hold any fear, I don't think, for any of the Arsenal players, not least Lacazette and Aubameyang. So for me, I'm very, very keen. We're going to come to my transfer plans for the next sort of 48 hours at the end of this stream. Very, very, very keen on Aubameyang. I saw a comment from Amwinit a second ago saying, check out his stats from Dortmund. The guy is box office, and I think you're absolutely right, Amwinit. I think he's got the stats to back up the performances that he's been posting.
I also think partly with Arsenal, and I don't mean this disrespectfully by any means, it's that in the past there's always been this kind of like 1-0 Arsenal stuff. So you always kind of worry when you're owning an Arsenal asset that it might be a 1 goal here, or kind of a bit like Liverpool this season in comparison to last. Like last season, you owned the Liverpool assets on the basis that they probably would turn 2 or 3 over the course of the game, whereas this season you're scoring far less in a game. So it's the reverse with Arsenal. Suddenly we've gone from a team that would maybe score and win 1-0 to teams that are knocking in 4 against Spurs.
But
so,
they are totally different, Arsenal, right now. Emery is building a totally different connection with the fans, a totally different feel about the team and the dressing room. Just as I was coming on, I noticed a video, and it's probably going to go viral on Twitter, of some Arsenal fans walking away from the stadium, and they spot Guendouzi's car, and they're knocking on the window, going, Guendouzi, Guendouzi. He winds the window down, starts hugging them all, and like as his driver's driving off, he's like this out the window. I mean, that's not Arsenal, is it?
No,
that's not Arsenal, but it is now.
This is what I mean. Like Arsenal of last season, 1-0 here, 1-0 there, not very exciting. And from an FPL point of view, you'd be a bit like, is it worth the money in a player that might just be involved in that one goal that they're going to score? Yeah. This season, it's different.
Totally.
They're scoring more goals in each game, so suddenly these Arsenal assets, you're looking at them thinking, well, if they can knock 4 past Spurs, then there's a reason to kind of get on them, because when they come to play these easier teams, which they've got coming up, well, how many are they going to put past them?
Absolutely, and they've got a player in Torreira, and let's not labour him because he's not an FPL asset, despite the goal. In my opinion, not really an FPL asset because he's a deep line midfielder, but goodness me, what a game. What a game he had today. He is the player that Arsenal have not had.
He's pulling their strings for sure.
Months and months and months and years. I mean, he is absolutely fantastic. So Aubameyang looks like the one to get on if you're going to go with Arsenal. I thought Bellerin had a good game as well today, but as we said before, I don't think you can bank on Arsenal clean sheets too regularly. So you're looking for attacking output.
How often is he going to get that?
Yeah, exactly. So I think if you're looking at Arsenal, it's Aubameyang, it's Lacazette if you want a differential. Ramsey with 2 assists today, interestingly, so maybe he's on the radar. But no doubt,
and he could have had more, Ramsey.
Absolutely, but there's no doubt who is the guy in the middle of everybody's radar, and it's Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. A word on Spurs then. A disappointing result from a Spurs perspective, obviously. Of that midfield trio, stroke quartet, because we're heavily scouting the Spurs midfielders, if you're not fancying Kane up front, or if you can't have Kane and Aubameyang, and let's face it, that's difficult to do, you might want to cover Spurs, and I hate the whole coverage concept in FPL, but if you're talking about that as a concept, who out of Ali, Eriksen, Son, who am I missing?
Lamela,
Moura, those guys. I think it's maybe Ali and Eriksen are the main protagonists. How do you feel about their performance today?
They're the two, I think, that over Christmas period are less at risk of rotation than the others. I think the fact that they have both had injuries but are now back to full fitness means they've missed quite a large percentages of games anyway. Yeah. Whereas the likes of Son, Moura and Lamela have played more often. As I said the other night as well, obviously we've got that one more game against Barcelona and the game against Arsenal again in the Cup. Hope it's not a game like today. I won't cope.
Exactly.
But
unreal.
Yeah, no, let's hope not. But let's. I think what we'll find is that Dele and Eriksen played more of them. Of the two of them, I think it's difficult, right? Because obviously Trippier should be back for this. The weekend. We should have been back for the weekend, but he's not. So hopefully midweek or probably next week. While he's out, Eriksen therefore on set pieces. So from that point of view, is maybe allowing a bit more. But although Harry Kane took a wonderful free kick today, which could have gone in, so he's not guaranteed that Eriksen's on set pieces.
Hannah's just a quick word from Hannah. So Hannah,
she is
a Spurs fan. So let's have a listen to this. Sonny's the one to have. He's playing as a striker today. Eriksen and Ali both have dropped into CM too often this season. So Sonny is the one to have. Min Son.
See, Hannah, I really think Son's going to get rotated. I just can't see him playing every game over Christmas. I really can't.
But if you take the concept, and whenever anyone on Twitter or anywhere right now is saying, yeah, but he's a rotation risk, my response to that is everyone is a rotation risk over Christmas. We're going to see rotation like you would not believe. Every team, every player is a risk.
Maybe.
So I'd go with Son on the basis that as long as you've got a decent bench, you're covered, right?
No. No. I don't think Son will play that regularly over Christmas. I think he'll be the one that's coming on. I didn't think he was great today at all.
Okay, all right. That's it. We haven't got any longer to talk about Arsenal or Spurs. Kane, obviously a favourite for you going into Christmas. You're going to be sticking with him. I really like Mr. Aubameyang after today, and I genuinely think that their fixtures look absolutely unreal as well. Like we said before, United going up to Old Trafford shouldn't hold any fear for them. And after that, the fixtures look unreal for Arsenal. So it could make for a very interesting Christmas in the FPL family household if my main man up front is Aubameyang and yours is Kane. Could make for a very interesting Christmas.
Well, we just won't make it till Christmas.
That's it. That'll be the end of it. A quick word then on Hazard and Chelsea and how those guys are getting on. Now, listen, I don't for a minute think that we need to be jumping on Pedro any minute now because we're talking about rotation risks. There's one for a start. But Hazard, is he worth the money? Given that the Chelsea fixtures... Whoops, I've just changed the size of that window. Sorry, guys. Move that back. Looking at the Chelsea fixtures going forward, well, let's have a look. I had a look at them. They don't look amazing, right?
I am really, really, really torn on Hazard. So as some of you will know, because I spoke to a few of you about this, Josh in particular, I went through the ringer on Thursday and Friday. Thursday mostly with Hazard as to what to do about Hazard this week and whether to swap him for Sané. And in my mind, I decided that I was going to get Sané. So if Hazard went, it was going to be for Sané.
Yeah.
And I was still pondering it. And as you all know, I don't ponder stuff before on deadline day. I just don't.
You always do your transfers the day before, right?
Yeah. Well, I woke up on Friday morning and I was still not sure what I was doing. And I got to 6:30 and I was still not sure what I was doing. And then both you and Josh at pretty much the same time sent me the Bennett news that Bennett wasn't going to play. And I was like, right, I'm annoyed. I can't have this because my bench, as we all know, is okay, but I wasn't
What's
sure.
the relevance to Hazard of all this?
Well, so I didn't make the Hazard change because I made the Bennett change because I thought, I've got to do Bennett, I've got to deal with that, so I won't do Hazard. So now I'm still pondering on Hazard. But yet every week he's kind of ticking me over points. So I'm looking at him thinking...
You want him to more than tick over points, though.
Yeah, but I'm looking
12,
at him...
What is he, 11 something?
But I'm looking at him, he's worth 10.8 to me.
Right.
So I'm looking at him thinking, well, you're getting me assists and goals quite regularly. And then I'm looking at Salah and thinking, you're taking up another 4 million of my budget. Why am I thinking about getting rid of Hazard when you are doing... So
there's a lot of you guys saying Hazard out.
Yes,
Hazard out. Matthew Sol, I'm dropping Hazard for Sané or Son or Ali. Let's see. Nick and Tom from Who Got the Assist. Hello, gentlemen. How are you? Very glad I sold Hazard this week. Just got rid of the headache for later times. Yeah, I think you're probably right about that.
It is a headache. Having Hazard is a headache.
Absolutely. Let's see what else you guys are saying about Hazard. Hazard dropped him already. Steve Wynyard saying already did it and it felt real good to do it. Real good to do it.
I wonder if I might get a sense of relief when I do eventually get rid of Hazard.
Yeah, maybe. Scott Schrager's saying Hazard gone for Sterling. Better late than never. Well, there we go. I think that is what's driving the Hazard out stuff, right? It's the fact that Sterling and Sané and all these other guys look so good. Right, so good that Hazard's starting to look very, very overpriced indeed. And the fixtures don't look great. They don't look great. Wolves away, and Wolves not exactly keeping a lot of clean sheets recently, but away can be tough going to Molineux. And then it's City, Brighton away, Leicester and Watford. So, games where Hazard can score goals, no doubt about it. But at the same time, you've got players like Felipe Anderson with fixtures like that at the top. Why does this screen keep jumping? That's really annoying. Like that, you've got the Arsenal fixtures looking great going forward. The Spurs fixtures looking great, as we've said before. And then City, who, frankly, doesn't matter what their fixtures look like. They're just awesome, whatever, right? So there's all these players. And then you might even want to consider a Liverpool player or two if you haven't got them. So in a world where you've got all this stuff going on, can you have Hazard?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure you can.
It's so hard, isn't it? Because I'd kind of decided that because of where we are at the moment with Christmas and the fixture congestion and everything else, that I didn't really want to take points hits because you're already going into a game behind, and then if your players are getting rotated, it's just a nightmare. What happens if you take a 4-point hit and then the player gets rested?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's a nightmare. So I'd kind of made my decision that I wasn't going to take any points hits between now and Christmas. So that means I need to start making some tough decisions between the likes of Hazard and Salah and that sort of thing as to which one stays and which one goes and how do I get these players that I want.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, we genuinely haven't even got time to talk about Fulham. I'd love to because I thought Sessegnon played very well in that game, despite losing 2-0. Played nice, quite far forward. Didn't see Schürrle in that game. I think he either dropped to the bench or maybe went out altogether. So, maybe there's a comment that says, does Schürrle really fit into that dynamic counter-attacking football that Ranieri's used to? I'm not sure if he's got the speed.
Are they going to play that against Chelsea though?
Well, you'd like to think that Ranieri maybe saw going to Stamford Bridge as a bit of an opportunity to test out a new system in what could potentially be a bit of a free hit game. No one's expecting them to go there and get anything, but nevertheless, we must move on. Southampton 2, Manchester United 2.
That game, I forgot all about that game. That was a bonkers game.
And I've fallen into the trap here of going game by game. Let's not do that. Let's just talk about Saturday as a thing, right? So where do we want to go on Saturday?
Let's go to the West Ham assets, because I think
let's ignore Man U. Let's move on from Man U.
Well, I don't know who you... What, do you want Man U, I said?
No, not really.
Let's not talk about them.
No, absolutely not. Any team that's conceding 2 at Southampton like that.
They're not going to beat Arsenal, so let's not bother. Get an Arsenal player over a Man United player.
Wow.
We haven't got time.
Hundreds of people, Man United fans. There's 442 people watching, Sam, which is a new record,
by the way.
That's a new record for FPL Family. So, guys, thank you for joining.
Sorry, United fans.
Brilliant.
Any Fan TV, Josh, sorry.
But any Man United fans, Sam is skipping right on past Man United. And FPL Tips has sponsored the stream. Thank you, FPL Tips.
He's not a Man United fan, is he?
He's not a Man United fan. I don't think so.
Maybe he likes us skipping them.
He's saying Alonso, keep or sell. So we have to just cover that off before we move on from Chelsea. Thanks to FPL Tips donating and sponsoring the stream.
It's a keep from me.
I think it's a keep from me as well. I put something a bit provocative out there on Twitter earlier about, is he worth his 7 million? But right now, I think if you look at his last few games, Tips, his numbers look pretty good still, right? If we're complaining about the fact he's got a clean sheet, I mean, come on, you can't complain with getting a 6 every week. So for now, I think he stays, unless he's a cash cow, you need to unlock some of that money to do more moves into your midfield or up front. Maybe. But I think Alonso stays for now. It was about this time last season that I did Alonso to Christensen, wasn't it?
Trolled.
Absolutely disastrous move. I'm absolutely not going to do that again this year. Go on then.
If you want to talk about United, the only thing I would say is, do we now need to be worried about Martial? You've got him, right?
I've got him.
You worried now?
Yeah, absolutely worried because didn't play, which
Mourinho trap again.
You said it. To be fair to you, you said I don't trust Mourinho, so I'm not getting him on that basis. And here we are. You were absolutely right not to trust Mourinho. Just shows that when you take off your main goal threat, what happens? You don't win the game. I mean, shock Mourinho, right?
Lukaku did score though for the first time in about.
I don't know whether
how many minutes, Josh?
Mourinho's trying to get married, fired, or what? I don't know. He's trying to get married or fired.
Trying to get married or fired.
I don't know. I don't know if Mourinho's trying to get fired or what, but he's literally that team sheet. When that team sheet dropped, I was like, what the hell? What the actual hell was he doing?
You were already annoyed, weren't you? Because somebody else... Aguero, you would already annoyed.
But it's like, where was he playing Matic? And like McTominay comes in instead of Fred, who's like his big summer signing, drops Martial, puts Lukaku up. What the hell? So I had no idea. And when they went 2-0 down, I was kind of like, well, good. Serves you right for dropping Martial.
And Southampton looked good in that first half. They did. They looked good in the first half.
Sort of, yeah.
I mean, that says something. United made them look good.
United were pretty bad. So Andrew Yee is saying that was Lukaku's first goal in 981 minutes. And you told me when he scored, I think you... who is it that gave you that stat? Josh. So Josh gave you the stat via Instagram, which I loved, by the way, which was that was... The first, so in the time it's taken Lukaku to score, so in that 981 minutes that Andrew Yee is talking about, City have scored 81 goals.
Go onto my Instagram, you'll see. We
haven't got time for that. We ain't got time.
Yeah, and they've spent so much money, and there was some just absolutely quality stats. I couldn't help but love them, so I posted them. They're brilliant.
But to answer your question about Martial, am I worried? Yes. Am I sticking with him? Yes, because
even against Arsenal.
When I bought him in, I bought him in to try not to knee jerk him out after a couple of weeks. They've got some nice fixtures. Let's see how it goes. If we get to, the end of the FPL Family Christmas Present League on the 23rd of December and he's done naffle, then maybe let's get rid of him. But for now, I've got to stick. Let's talk about Newcastle and West Ham, and in particular West Ham. Felipe Anderson. No-brainer right now, in my opinion. No-brainer. 10 points at the weekend.
Loving
a very happy Felipe Anderson owner right here to my right. Give us your thoughts on the game, and in particular, him and Arnautovic. And is Chicharito maybe worth a little punt over Christmas?
Chicharito? Felipe Anderson, I think, is a bit of a hero at the moment. So could have... potentially, having watched much of the day, could have had more than he did, actually. He played really well and looked really, really good. And I think for me, and I've said this before, the reason I got Felipe Anderson was because those front three positions, given there's only 3 of them, I just don't trust an Arnautovic and his injuries and
certainly.
and all of that kind of malarkey that's going on in the background. Whereas with Felipe Anderson, I feel like he's a lot more consistent in terms of playing regularly. He's not getting injured all the time. Please God, don't get injured now. Touch wood. But he's also he really does appear to be the heartbeat of that team. He's just moving stuff around all the time, and he looks really good.
Becoming a bit of a fan favourite, actually. I saw a couple of West Ham Twitter accounts saying, what a player we've got here. Brazilian guy that, normally Brazilians, South Americans in general, take a bit of time to adapt to the league. But here we are this season with Torreira, who looks like he's played in the Premier League all his life. Anderson, who's taken to it like a duck to water. I myself am on Arnautovic. I think I'm happy. I've kind of picked him, right? I picked him a few weeks ago.
You have one or the other, right?
You have one or the other. I don't think you double up, although having a look at these fixtures, courtesy of FF Scout, lovely. Cardiff Palace, goodness me, Cardiff Palace, Fulham, Watford, Southampton. Oh my God, that is some serious fixtures right there. Is there a case for a West Ham double up? Arnie and Anderson? I think you can make a case for it out of that, can't you?
I think you can, for sure. Which is part of the reason I asked you if you were going to stick on Martial, because Martial to Felipe Anderson looks nailed to me.
Yeah, maybe. And a lot of you guys are in the live chat talking about exactly that. Lee, you can consider a move for Anderson from Martial, MUFan TV.
I 100% think that that's a wise idea.
Absolutely right. And there's some of you guys are saying that you're happy to have got onto Anderson a couple of weeks ago when Maddison stopped becoming a thing, right? And when people were getting off of Maddison.
Another troll.
Yeah, it was a move to Anderson that seemed like that's the right move, guys. Seems like that's the right move, which is a move you did a couple of weeks ago. So fair play. He looks spot on, doesn't he?
Very happy with that.
Maddison owners rejoice. What comes around goes around. -2 last week, 10 points or maybe even 9 this week. Absolutely sensational. Great goal as well. Great goal against Watford. Haven't got too long to talk about that game, but Maddison back on the radar. Let's have a look at the Leicester fixtures going forward. Leicester is tough. Fulham, then Spurs, Palace, Chelsea and Man City. Only 2 home games in the next 5, and those 2 are Tottenham and Manchester City. So not the best time to get onto James Maddison, I would suggest.
I'm never going there again.
Okay. All right. He's your number one troll, is he?
He's my number one troll.
Right. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah. Goodbye, Maddison.
Okay. Did we talk about City? We've kind of covered City, haven't we, in terms of their options? They're all options, aren't they?
Just get one, I think.
Just get on it. Oh. Yeah, just get on it. Let's talk about that the better. Welcome back, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Very happy to see 6 points in my first
PVA,
team.
My jammy pick.
Jammy pick for this week, Patrick Van Aanholt. Got a bonus point. 7 points for Patrick Van Aanholt. Very, very good indeed.
Thanks, PVA.
That game, by the way, could have been, no joke, 6 or 7-0 to Palace easily. They were so wasteful in front of goal, it was unreal.
What has happened to Burnley?
Well, they're just so leaky, aren't they? They're just conceding shots left, right and centre.
But that's the ridiculous thing I don't get. As last season, that Burnley defence was quality. It's why they made the Europa League.
It's odd, isn't it? Because about this time last year, we had Ben Mee, Set and Forget, and who was the other guy that was cheap? Was it Long? I think you had Long, didn't you? I can't remember.
I'm Me for sure, but I don't know. I've had 2.
Me and Long and Heaton and Pope. Remember Pope? Whatever happened to him? That guy?
Oh, injured, wasn't he?
He was on the fringe of England for a while, wasn't he? Pope.
Injured though.
So there we go. Palace 2, Burnley 0. Could have been a lot more. My view is invest in Palace. I think at least in the short term with Brighton, West Ham and Leicester coming up. Only a trip to the Etihad to sour those Crystal Palace fixtures. So Wan-Bissaka should be back in your teams, guys. If you sold him, then I would think about getting him back in. He looks like a beast once more.
Cheap as chips as well.
Cheap as chips. What a goal from Andros Townsend, by the way. No goal in his last, 2,674 shots or whatever it was. And then he's pulled out an absolute worldie out of the absolute top goal. It was a beautiful goal.
And a nice assist.
And a very good assist. So Townsend looking very good there. Looking very good. Burnley, for their part, avoid at all costs if you've got Burnley players.
Liverpool next, for goodness sake.
Liverpool next. At Burnley, I think, at Turf Moor.
Oh, is it at Turf?
But
well,
nevertheless,
even so.
I think you want to be playing your Salahs and your Manes and your Robertsons against a very, very leaky Burnley side.
Might play Origi, maybe.
Might be my plan, Ricky. You never know. Is there a risk that he drops Firmino and puts Origi in after that amazing goal, by the way?
Firmino needs a rest, I think. He looks knackered walking around
I don't know what's up with him. I want to agree with you, but I don't know. He just looks really
Benefit
flaky.
of the doubt for me.
Really flaky. Last game I want to talk about is Cardiff versus Wolves, which seems like an absolute age ago on Friday. Friday night. But
the best last-minute transfer I've ever done.
So you did at the 11th hour.
20-7.
At 20-7, Bennett to Doherty.
Yes.
And guys, let me tell you, and I put a tweet out there that got quite a big reaction on Twitter. I was devastated because I did. Obviously, I've had Doherty for some time. We live stream every Sunday, every Thursday, and I say to you, it's all right having Bennett, he's cheap, but Doherty, Super Matty Doherty, we've been on the FPL show talking about Matt Doherty, what a superhero. He pops up with a goal, and I was giving it I was absolutely giving it. I was like, yes, I've told you, Sam, you need Doherty. Get rid of Bennett, Doherty's the one. And you just sat there and you just went, transferred him in about half an hour ago. And I was like, oh.
Oh, and by the way, I got the assist on that goal.
Oh, and you had him in as well. I was just like, oh God, talk about piss on my chips. It was unreal. Absolutely unreal. So I sat back down, had a cup of tea, took a deep breath and thought and realised that this was going to be a long FPL weekend. And so it has proved. Ate
the chocolate that was supposed to be going in the kids' advent calendars.
Screw that. I just ate all the chocolate. Couldn't deal with it anymore. So Doherty, very happy to have Doherty still.
Reminded me of that again.
Still very happy to have Doherty. And of course, Jimenez remains an option. Keeps these assist points ticking over, right?
We're at 9. He's handed 9 out of their 13 goals.
Yeah, what more do you want,
what
right?
more can you want from this
more
guy? Is cheap. It's 6 mil now. Okay, he's gone up a bit, but still, he's cheap.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of decent goals, Junior Hoylett, take a bow, son. That was an absolute howlet
Won't
sort of a
score
shot.
one of them every week.
Absolute beautiful shot. Anything else we want to talk about?
So much,
that game?
but I don't
so
think we
much
can.
Going on. So much going on.
We're already at 46 minutes and we've not previewed the next game week.
So we're going to do that in a bit. Let's finish up this game week by looking at our points for the game week. I don't know whether stuff's updated or not yet, but let's have a look.
Still a bit early, maybe.
Let's have a look. I don't know if overall rank is updated actually, because I'm pretty sure I'm a bit lower than that. But let's have a look at the points for this game week anyway. Let me just hit refresh one more time.
See if it's...
One more time. Let's have a look. So 49, guys, which is pretty bad. Let's just zoom out a bit. I've had a few bad game weeks in a row now. I've had 2 or 3 captain fails in a row. We need to improve, guys. We need to improve. And I've made a couple of transfers already to try and... Yeah, I've made a couple of transfers already to try and get back on the right path. But listen, guys, that's where we are.
Doesn't look like it's up to date yet, because the high average points isn't changed.
Okay. All right, well, listen, we might have a look again at the end of the stream, but I'm on 49 points. I think I've got, that's including Richarlison coming on, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. Richarlison is on. There's the Mane vice-captain, 6 points. So it's pretty steady at the back. I'm reasonably happy with 6-7 and 6-6. You know, it's only Laporte letting the side down again, with City conceding again.
Do you know what? That is one thing we should have talked about, and we can talk about that in the preview, is City defence.
Yeah, absolutely. Midfield, Richarlison and Martial not doing great. Returns for Hazard and Arnautovic. So actually, you know, smatterings of returns throughout the team. So it wasn't a complete disaster, but it wasn't great. And I didn't get a single bonus point in my team. Not a single bonus point in my team this week. No, so very bad from that perspective. So 49, guys, not great. I don't know if that game week rank is updated. 1.4 million. It sounds like it should be worse than that, actually. So I doubt if that's updated. And I'm pretty sure Fix had me at something like 85, 86k. So not a great week. Not a great week. Need to get back on course pretty soon. Let's have a look at your scores, which is a lot better. 70. Very, very, very good game week. I tell you what. What was the game week where you had a disaster? Was it 12? Was it game week 12? You had an absolute mare, didn't you?
City scored 6 and I had no City.
Yeah, so you had, apart from that game week, you were having a sensational season. If it wasn't for that game week, I'm sure you'd be in the top 10k. But talk me through your team. 70 points, a game week rank of 174k, which is frankly incredible. Returns left, right and centre in this team.
Everyone by Edison and Hazard.
Talk us through it. That is absolutely great.
Edison and Salah, sorry. Duffy, what
a legend.
It was coming.
Look at that defence. 10, 6, 6, 7, 6.
Goodness
me, absolutely outrageous.
I'm very, very happy with the defence. Felipe Anderson,
Everyone's returned. Felipe, Hazard?
Not Salah.
Oh, not Salah. Yeah,
annoyingly,
not Salah.
the captain armband was on the wrong guy. Anyone else, and it would have been a better game week.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah, I am pleased with them. Really pleased with them. Edison is my bugbear, to be quite honest.
You can't get rid of Edison.
I just don't know what to do. Well, you say that. Why? He's not kept me a clean sheet for ages.
Yeah, but they are pretty good at the back. 6 goals conceded all season. The cheapest way into the city. You can't. There must be. I cannot believe you're in a position where the thing you're considering changing is Edison.
Oh no, I'm not. I won't change him at the moment because I've got other things I want to do. Like I've got to work out what I'm doing for the midweek game with City. I've got to work. Like I think I've decided it's Sané over Sterling now. Because I want to use the money elsewhere. I think I've decided that. I think it's going to be for Hazard.
Okay, all right.
But yeah.
And talk to me about what you're thinking. So very, very quick turnaround for game week 15. Talk me through your early transfer thoughts right now. Who are you thinking of getting?
Sané, I think.
Sané. And who would go out for Sané?
Hazard, I think.
Hazard for Sané. I think that looks like a pretty good move that I think quite a lot of people are going to think about. Any other transfers or just that one for now?
No points hits over Christmas. None.
Okay.
The rotation risk is too great to take points hits, in my opinion.
Okay, very good. So that is the team looking very good. 174k game week rank, 70 points. Excellent, guys.
I think I'll be up to about 44-ish k overall rank.
Very good.
So we're not doing too badly at the moment.
All right, guys, get in the live chat. If any of you can beat 70, I'll be very impressed. Anybody above 70 points will be doing incredibly well this game week, I would suggest. Incredibly well. I can talk you through some transfers that I've made already, guys, because there's price rises and stuff going on left, right and centre.
What is that in your team?
All sorts going on already.
Up front?
These are emotional rage transfers. Emotional rage transfers is what I've called these. Happy with the back line, sticking there. Gone for Hazard out for Sané, which is the move you're considering. I've done that already. Hazard was due to drop 0.1 last night, and that would have cost me 0.1. So if I could have ridden that price drop, I would have done, and probably done it maybe tonight or tomorrow. But he was going to go down 0.1. That would have cost me 0.1. More than happy to get rid of him and get Sané in.
So hang on, you did that last night?
Did that last night before Hazard even turned up against Fulham. Before he even turned up. And the fact that he was a bit lethargic and just got an assist makes me feel like I'm vindicated in my decision. Sané looks absolutely unreal. Guys, he could have had another monster haul at the weekend. He was sensational. And while Mendy's not playing, Sané didn't go to the World Cup. He hasn't played a lot already this season. I think out of all of the City players, he's the least likely to be rotated in my view. I mean, bookmark this tweet, but I think he will see more minutes than Sterling between now and January the 1st.
I think there's a good chance that Sterling will get a rest at some point in the next couple of game weeks. And
could he get a rest in the next? Could he get a game week 15 rest?
Well, maybe.
What's their fixture? They're at
Watford. They're at Watford.
Watford, and then haven't they got to go to Chelsea after that?
Yeah.
In 16. So it is
they've got to
City
go to
and
Chelsea.
Yeah, on Saturday the 8th of December. So, oh goodness me, sorry guys, that is a seriously large cat put amongst some pretty awful pigeons. Does Sterling get a rest against Watford? How are you feeling about that?
Somebody will get a rest against Watford. Somebody will get a rest against Watford. Pep's already said that. He's already said that there's 2 bigger games coming up. He's got to rest people. They've got to have rests. So somebody's going to get a rest. In my mind, I'd had the same thought process as you, which is how I decided on Sané, is that no World Cup, less minutes played so far this season, no Mendy, so you need the width. Sané's going to play. Sterling is the one that maybe gets a rest. Because they've got Mahrez that can play.
That's my fear, and I think Jasper is saying the same thing. Sterling rest, maybe Mahrez comes in and plays.
I think that could happen.
It could happen, couldn't it?
David Silva had a rest, he could come back. I don't know, but yeah, that's where I am. I agree with you. I think it's more likely to be Sterling than it is Sané.
Yeah, but listen, it doesn't.
But we don't know.
That doesn't make just if I sit here and say, well, Sané's going to get more minutes than Sterling between now and Christmas.
Minutes doesn't mean goals.
Doesn't mean that he's going to get more points, right? Sterling is, as you guys are saying, an absolute machine. Kevin Mellier is saying Sterling's a key player. He will play 4 out of 5 from now on until the end of the season. Sterling will play 60 to 70 minutes, Neil Crasson is saying. Sterling's essential despite the rotation risk, Anas is saying. Sterling is the Premier League Messi, Sanchez is saying. So there we go. I mean, I don't disagree with you guys. I don't disagree with you. But at 11.4, whatever he is in the game, I think you have to really think about getting him in and how you're going to do that. With Sané, 9.3, 9.4, he's a no-brainer. My other transfer is Aguero out, so I feel like I've got my Man City coverage with Sané. I've gone Aguero to Aubameyang on the back of today's game. Kane was locked in for me, but not impressed with his performance at all. I think he had more conversations with the ref than he did goals today. Not a good performance again from Harry Kane. Got the penalty, I got that. He's 12.5. He'll get points. 100% he'll get points. No issue with that. But will he get more points than Aubameyang? Who's the better pick? Who's the better value? And right now, for me, I've got to go with Mr. Aubameyang. I think their fixtures look really good and he's on fire. He's on fire. Now that leaves me, guys, with quite a lot of money in the bank. So that leaves me with 2.6 in the bank. 2.6. So that is going to be spent, I think, on Martial, probably. So having a look at my team going forward, who do I fancy getting rid of? Well, out of that lot, it's Martial. So could there be a -4 for Martial to somebody else? Don't know. Let's wait and see. Could be a David Silva come in or something like that. Let's see. But for now, I don't think I'm going to be taking any points hits. Those are my 2 transfers. Hazard and Aguero
No
out.
Spurs, though, for that run.
No Spurs. Yeah, no Spurs. So no Spurs against Southampton is scary. Yeah, a little bit scary. But I don't see Spurs smashing teams at the minute. And
we just beat Chelsea by 3.
Yeah, I get that. But you just lost to Arsenal 4-2. And I said this on the last stream. Spurs looked sensational against Chelsea. Absolutely sensational. But that is the only game in which they've looked sensational this season. They've looked very good outside of that. But that's the only game they've looked sensational. Whereas City look sensational every week. Arsenal haven't lost in 18 games. Aubameyang looks sensational even when he comes off the bench. So Kane will get points. There's no doubt. There's no need to put all your defensive body language on.
I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm saying is you've got Martial wasting space in your team, and you've got Spurs on that nice run of fixtures. What are you doing? Or why is Felipe Anderson not? Even if you're not going to go Spurs, West Ham have got that lovely run of fixtures, and you've dealt with 2 players that I don't think you needed to deal with.
Yeah, so Martial can easily become an Eriksen or an Ali with that 2.6 in my bank. Right, depends if I want to do a -4
or Felipe Anderson.
I don't want to double up on West Ham.
Fair enough.
On their day, they can have a bad day, but Martial can easily become an Ali or an Eriksen depending on who shows a little bit of form. Right, who shows a little bit of form. So there we go. So that is my transfer strategy for Game Week 15. Let's have a look at
Game Week 16.
Game Week 15. Let's just have a quick look at these fixtures because we will not be streaming again between now and Game Week 15. Here they are. Let's zoom in a little bit. There we go. Where do you want to pick out some FPL points from that lot? Liverpool at Burnley looks a standout fixture, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Captain
absolutely.
Salah, Captain Mané potentially.
I don't know.
Spurs at home to Southampton.
Captain
Kane. Yeah, I would think so. Chelsea going to Wolves is an interesting one. Can Wolves get back on track or will they continue to be leaky? Any team that concedes 2 in the way that they did to Cardiff on Friday night could potentially concede a lot to Chelsea. Clean sheet in 6 for Wolves. Going to be a difficult game for them, that. A much improved Everton side against Newcastle, who have just been trashed at home by West Ham. That looks good for me. It just depends on how much that Merseyside Derby has taken out of Everton. They're so unlucky to drop points against Liverpool. Can they bounce back and get back into form quickly against Newcastle? Bournemouth versus Huddersfield. Another, what should be on paper, a routine home win, I think, for Bournemouth.
Well,
but let's see. Huddersfield have improved a little bit of late. So maybe we'll get some points for Fraser and for Wilson and for King and all those guys. And Brooks, more than happy to be playing Fraser. Any other thoughts in general? City away at Watford. What do you think about that? City captains?
Well, no, I'm captaining Kane, but would I captain a City player against Watford? Well, Watford haven't looked as good of late as they had in that previous run that they were on, where they looked really good. Lost the last couple. I don't think Leicester have looked great. So to beat Watford 2-0 says something.
So Joe's just joined us. Joe Finley Badder's just joined us. He says, captain your Man City assets, guys.
Oh,
as a Watford fan, there's all the endorsement you need to go ahead and captain Sterling and Sané ahead of that game.
At the end of the day, you can captain your Man City assets against anybody. They're going to score goals. They just will.
Right. You're right.
They are fixture proof from that point of view. They just are. There's captain choices all over the place, I think, for this game week. It's really interesting because that Chelsea game, you've got Chelsea assets. They could easily go for, you could give captain's armband there. Spurs, obviously.
Captain Felipe Anderson at home to Cardiff.
Why not?
Oh, it could do, couldn't you?
Or Arnie. Could captain either of those.
Fancy that.
Bournemouth assets, you could put it on Callum Wilson. He's returning all the time. There is captain's armbands everywhere this week. It's really hard to pick, actually, I think.
Okay, I'm not going to ask you for a jammy pick because I assume we haven't got one of those lined up. But
oh gosh, no, I forgot about that.
If I was going to pick out a result that maybe we're not expecting outside of the top 6, I think that Everton game at home to Newcastle, I'd expect Everton to get back to winning ways against that. Newcastle have improved of late, but they just had a terrible result against West Ham, so that's got to knock them for 6, I think. So both teams will be looking to bounce back there. And I was really impressed with Everton today. Really impressed. They didn't come and sit, as a lot of teams do at Anfield. They come and attacked us. Should have had a goal or maybe even 2 in the first half. Andre Gomez, by the way.
What, I'll give you a jam pick.
Okay, go on then.
Off the top of my head, because I quite fancy Fulham to beat Leicester, so let's go for Ryan Sessegnon.
Ryan Sessegnon? All right, very good.
It's got to be under 5% owned.
I'm sure he is. But I do fancy Everton to bounce back against Newcastle at home. Richarlison et al. To do well. Andre Gomez, absolutely sensational player, adds a lot of guile and creativity and solidity in the middle of that park for Everton. So I would go there. I think I would go there. So there we go. So that's the Game Week 15 fixtures. That is a real whistle-stop tour of the Game Week 15 fixtures. Because it's... Hey, listen, it's coming thick and fast, right?
It's going to be the same on Thursday night when we've got to review 15, preview 16.
Totally. Yeah, totally.
It's madness.
So what are these? We need to think about this. So Tuesday and Wednesday. So what we're going to do, a live stream Thursday to talk about what's happened in Game Week 15.
Not that you'll know because you've been away all week.
I won't know because I'll be hardly watching the games, but we'll be reviewing 15 and looking forward to 16 on Thursday night. That's what we're going to do, isn't it? Something like that. Goodness me. Right. Let's have a quick look at the live stream regulars.
And then we need to look at the Christmas League.
And we're going to look at the Christmas Present League, of course. Ryan Foley still flying the blue Brazil flag at the top. I don't know. Obviously not. No. So Ryan's got 70 points this week, which is a very, very good score, but it only says 43 in the league. So it doesn't look like we're going to be able to review that, which is a little bit of a bummer. Instead, why don't we take a look at the Christmas Present League, because what we can do in that...
That's not up to date either.
Well, yeah, but we can go into individual scores, right? So we can have a look at...
but they're not going to be
90.
right. 90 points!
90.
Wowzers!
Absolutely unreal. So well played to Isam Hemmer, currently top of the FPL Family Christmas Present League. However, not UK-based, so gets nothing but respect. But no prizes.
Definitely respect for 90 points this
Seb
game.
Ackerman is in Wales, so Seb could qualify, right? Wales, yeah, it's fine.
Well, he's only got to get in a car to drive over
it,
that's
fine. Yeah, that's cool. So, absolutely do that. Overall rank 5.8 million, by the way.
That can't be right.
It can't be right, can it? It's having an absolute howler of a season, but that is why we did the FPL Family Christmas Present League. If you're having a stinker, come and play for something. Come and have a go. So Seb Ackerman, 77 points. Very good.
He's in.
Oh, Ackers, you're here. Very, very good. Well, there we go. So Seb Ackerman, currently top of the FPL Family Christmas Present League. Played his bench boost. Are we going to allow that?
Yeah, we said all chips allowed.
Yeah, you can play your chips if you want, guys. Play your chips.
Chips allowed.
Absolutely. Jonathan Kearney as well in Ireland on 73 points. Very, very good. Having an altogether better season at 484k. With Duffy and Sterling captaining, very good. Are we going Ireland? Did we say UK and Ireland? Let's see.
The guys are saying that Seb's team is a new team.
Oh, right. Oh, well, that's why. Well, we can't have that then. We can't have that. What we need to do is we need to get a moderator for this league, don't we? And I can think of one person that I think will do an excellent job of that. And I'll come and see you a bit later, Jeff. I will DM you on Twitter.
Jeff.
I think Jeff would do a fantastic...
Jeff's just like the go-to man for all of this nonsense.
He would do a great job at that. An absolutely great job. So we'll talk about that a bit later. So anybody that's got game week scores, like overall rank scores or something like that, then yeah, we can't have that, guys. Don't start up new
And if
teams.
if you have more than one team in the Christmas Present League, we will be removing the ones that are new.
Yeah. Well, look, listen, I'm not going to start kicking people out. We'll just do the league, and then when it comes to reviewing it, we'll be doing exactly what we're doing and qualifying people out. Let's have a look at Shapnesh. He's in the States, 74, very good. Abhilash, Indian player, 78, very good. This is what you were saying before, isn't it? You've got to go down and down and down.
Yeah, I was looking last night, and it was a bit of a nightmare because you've got to keep going down until you find an English one.
Okay, let's have a look.
We are allowing chips because obviously if I want to play my bench boost next week, I don't. But if I did, then that wouldn't be fair if you couldn't play it overall.
Yeah.
Just because you're in our league.
Yeah. This is going to be tough, isn't it?
I told you, it's a nightmare.
And the problem is you can't go down and just look for a UK or an English name, right? Because anybody can do that.
You have to just keep going.
I could go to Tom Connolly.
Oh, bless Jeff.
Based in China.
He's happy to do it.
So there we go, guys. Look, this is going to be harder to moderate than I originally thought. So what we're going to do is I'm going to make sure that before we come on the stream, I'm going to know. I'm going to have looked at this and update it. So this is obviously taking its time to update anyway.
Thursday will be fine because obviously the game week finishes on Wednesday. So by the time we stream on Thursday, it will be okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to have Jeff doing his police bit anyway, making sure that everyone's. We'll get him a special outfit, a little hat, and everything. There we go, beautiful. So guys, I will put some more time and effort into making sure that we know exactly what's going on in this league. And if you're creating a new team just for 14 to 18. You don't qualify. We can't have that. It's got to be your team. It's got to be your team. Don't start a new team. It's got to be your team. So there it is. A bit of thought required to understand what's going on with that. But listen, some good scores knocking about. So if you're in that league and you're in the top, 50, something like that, on the first page there, you're in good shape.
All ranks are up to date, apparently.
Ranks are updated. Let's have a look. Still saying 62k for me. I'd be happy with that. I think I'm more like 80 something. Still says 62. I don't know if that's updated. But listen, guys, we will do it. I'll put a bit of effort into the FPL Family Christmas League thing and make sure that we moderate it correctly. Let's do the polls before we go. Let's have a look at that.
Oh, you've remembered the polls.
Of course. Well, it's only because Amwinit just said polls.
Oh, Amwinit. Where would you be without Amwinit?
Where would I be without Amwinit? Absolutely. Far lower down in the leagues than if I don't ever listen to Amwinit. Kane or Aubameyang, you're going Kane, so I'm going to also populate that for you. Half the community, 49% are going Aubameyang, 34% saying Kane, 12% both, and 4% neither. Not sure how the 12% are going to get both, but there we go. 12%
Get
both.
rid of Salah, probably.
Hazard, stick or twist?
Oh, what? Twist.
71% selling Hazard, only 28% sticking with Hazard. Best Spurs asset, Kane, Eriksen, Ali, Son or other?
Well, it's Kane.
It's Kane. Okay, 57% agree with you, it's Kane. So if you're going to go Spurs, it's them. And it feels like we're all still a little bit undecided. If you don't want to go Kane, if you want Eriksen, Ali or Son, they are 13, 9 and 17% respectively. So it's still pretty unclear if you want a Spurs mid, who you're going to go for. Is it time to sell Mohamed Salah? Yes or no, Sam?
Not before Burnley.
44% only agree with you. So 55%, 56% are saying it is time to now sell Mohamed Salah. They've had enough of spending 13 million on a player that only gets the odd assist. I put my tongue firmly in my cheek because he has been doing pretty well. He's returning a goal a game, right? But home to
can't get rid of him before
Everton,
Burnley. Can't.
Would have liked to see him get something. And his performance today wasn't great. I didn't think he was great. But I agree with you. If you've got him, guys, I think you should keep him for Burnley. I really do. I think Burnley are shocking right now. Absolutely keep him Mane. Might even captain him against Burnley because Burnley look really, really bad right now. Really bad right now. So they're the polls. Those are the polls, guys. Thank you for joining us. There was loads to cover, and we could have gone on for a lot longer, couldn't we? Frankly. So what we're going to do is go back to the Twitter page. Here we go. So here's the Twitter page. Well done to everybody that got anywhere into the sort of high 50s, 60s, or if you're above Sam in the 70-somethings, then fair play, because it was a tough old game week with lots of rotation, lots of injuries, lots of talking points. What's interesting to see is how many more people get off Aguero between now and Monday/Tuesday, particularly if there's any news that comes out of the City camp to say that he's out of that game. I think there's going to be even more of a mass exodus there. There'll be more people piling onto Kane, more people piling onto Aubameyang. So let's keep an eye on that and see how that goes. But for now, that is it. That was a real whistle stop. I feel like we've blasted through that in no time whatsoever. It feels like we've got loads more to talk about. So guys, get onto @FPL Family on Twitter and @FPL Family on Instagram, where we will continue the conversation, I'm sure, until Tuesday night when there's another round. And we will see you guys next Thursday for our next live stream when we'll be reviewing Game Week 15 and looking ahead to Game Week 16.
Wow.
Have I got that right?
Yeah, you have.
My mind's a little bit blown by the amount of Premier League and FPL going on right now.
I'm absolutely gone. I need
a little lie down,
a cup of tea, potentially some chocolate, and to watch The Jungle.
And think about If you take Salah and Hazard out, how are you going to spend that 24 million? There's a thought. There's a thought.
I'm not taking Salah out before Burnley. No.
Guys, there we go. Good night. Good work in Game Week 13. We will see you on Thursday for a Game Week 15 review and a Game Week 16 preview. Until then, we will see you soon. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Green arrows.